And then I'd like to invite my Chancellor's Office colleague, Leslie, if you'd like to say anything to kick things off, great. If not, I'll take it from here.
I'll just keep it really short. Thanks, Kevin. Welcome, everybody. Great to see you all. We're excited to be here and to hear what Kevin has to share with us in the next few weeks. So let's get started, and I'll turn it back over to you, Kevin.
Sure. And I will preface my whole effort here by saying what we have to share with each other. While I have put together this institute, it's really meant to be a springboard for all of us to think about how we can make more flexible course experiences for our students. And if you did not get a chance to go through the Module 0 introduction material, that's okay. I'll give you what's called the TLDR, or too long didn't read, if you've ever seen that in a book or magazine. The goal here is to think about ourselves as teachers, ourselves as professional development or academic technology staff members, and how we can create flexible experiences for the people who are learning with and from us, right? And so that flexibility can mean different things to different people on different campuses. We are each a unique snowflake, and this is absolutely true when it comes to flexible course experiences. So that flexibility might be something that your campus has decided to implement. I know some campuses like Chico have Chico Flex, and that's built right into the name. And then in other cases, it might be something that you're doing at a personal level, where you're giving students an option to participate either in person or remotely live and in real time. In some cases, you might have in-person students and then some on your own time students working from a recording, but not have those students in video conference to reduce the complexity or because there's just no good setup for it. So with all that said, this institute is really meant to be a resource for all of you. So if you didn't get to see Module 0 again, there are 3 ways you can use this institute. You can take it and run with it. I call it Institute in a Box. We're going to be creating videos like this one throughout the experience, and then you'll have an opportunity to just sit, press play for the faculty on your campus. When I say press pause, it's time for an activity. You press pause and lead the activity, and then when you're finished, you press play again, and we keep going. If you're a veteran professional development person or an academic technologist, and you want to create this on your own, I've created Google Slides and scripts for everything here. You can modify to your heart's content and treat it as if it's your own. It's all Creative Commons work. Last but not least, a phrase that Emily Magruder loves, I said, you can scrap it for parts. Put this thing up on blocks and take it apart and use just the little bits that you need. But it's a resource here for you, and I am considered one of those resources. So call on me for help. A lot of you have been using the Slack channel as well as the discussion forums to reach out with questions and ideas. And since this was a considerable effort in a short amount of time, I would say I am wide open to suggestions for improvement. So we continuous improvements, the phrase of the day. So that said, I'm going to start sharing my screen and get us kicked off unless there are any questions. I haven't seen anything other than comments and good mornings in the chat, but I'll keep my eyes on it for anything that might be a question mark. Now, just to get us started, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little and share with those of you that normally I share my entire screen when I am on Zoom and giving some sort of presentation or lecture. But in this case, I'm sharing one particular application with a specific flexibility in mind. I want to be able to see my notes, and I cannot share a Google slide presentation because it takes up the whole screen and I wouldn't be able to see my notes. Some of you may be in the same boat down the road. I'm using my own laptop as a lecturer, faculty member from San Francisco State University. It's my only device, it's my only monitor, so I have to be judicious about how I use the real estate on that monitor. You may have similar circumstances where you're in a classroom hooked up to a projector. You want students to be able to see what you're projecting, but you also want to be able to keep track of what's happening on Zoom or WebEx or whatever your campus video conference solution might be. So just thought that might be a little interesting tidbit for you all to know. So here we are with module 1, designing flexible courses or redesigning flexible courses so that they're more flexible. Our goal is to basically do just that, specifically to support student success and maintain some reasonable workloads for ourselves. And we're just going to go through a buffet of strategies, and you're going to pick 1 or 2 that you decide you want to implement in your own class. It's not meant to be some major course redesign effort. Some of you, I think maybe 10 or so, have had the opportunity to go through the check-in with yourself survey. We'll do this every module, and it's a chance for you to identify things that you've been doing regularly, things that you've done before and consider to be strength areas, areas where you want to level up or where you want to know more and get support, are growth areas. And I will share my next app, which is the Firefox, and you can see that many of you consider some of these things that we're going to discuss to be strength areas, but some of them are growth areas. Here, provide appropriate links, materials, and tutorials to support learners' successful participation in flexible course experiences. Half of the people who responded to the survey so far feel this is a high strength area. They do it regularly. Down here, though, construct a flexible course module template. Over half of the people have not done it before and want to check it out. So those surveys are meant to give you some idea about where you might want to focus your attention. Again, because this is going to be a buffet approach and there's going to be a lot of ideas swirling around, and it's nice to know which ones to put on your plate. All right, so we're going to go through in just a minute 3 different micro lessons. Those are meant to be done in roughly 25 to 30-minute chunks. We're going to talk about preparing our courses, preparing our students, and preparing our environments for flexibility, whether it be combining virtual and physical spaces, whether it be combining students in real time and on their own time, or some other aspect of flexibility that we'll define together. That's what we're here to do. And then at the end of this module, when we're done, your mission, should you choose to accept it, and again, it's up to you how much you wish to complete, go through the strategies that we discussed, download the template for creating a plan for yourself, and then figure out what you need to do in order to put 1 or 2 strategies into action at your own campus in your class. We do have another space for further exploration. We're calling it the Keep Learning space. And so I've put a couple resources that I've listed as deeper dives in the micro lessons, but I'm hopeful that people will be sharing their own materials that will help people to keep learning as well. All right, so if you want to do it in real time, you can go check in with yourself, but we are going to move on to micro lesson 1.1.